What's going on out
Hey,
there?
have have you guys seen that have you guys seen that new show and they put in the vault?
I don't think so. Because all I saw that came out, well, it wasn't even in the vault today. They put out that documentary of WrestleMania 9 on Peacock.
Now, this was a show at Omni in '84.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't finished the whole show yet, but it's got a really cool, like, it's not really it's basically a squash, but it's the spoiler against Johnny Rich. And dude, the spoiler fucking puts the claw on Johnny Rich, and even if the hard cam, like the hard cam all the way, it's a shitty shot, but you can
Hmm.
barely see all you see is the ring, and you can see that Johnny Rich hit a gusher. I mean, fucking dude, he was like he sold it good. Like Tommy Rich came out wearing a Mr. R mask, and Pez Watley and all came out. They carried him like carried him all back,
Oh, it's
and you
it's
heard like
during Mr. R, huh? Wow,
yeah.
I'm surprised they dusted that off.
Because I think the main event, if it is the main event, then I saw it all was Tommy Rich against or Mr. R against DBI. But yeah, it was pretty cool, man. And you heard about 15 people clapping for Johnny Rich because they were like helping him walk to the dressing room, and I was like, you know how you get that sympathy applause, and
Yeah.
you can count the amount of hands that were clapping. That's how little it was. It was like his mom, his cousin, couple of neighbors. They were all clapping for him.
So remind me,
This
because
is fucking
I might
cold.
have I might have my I might have my timeline fucked up, so you have to remind me. So if that's DiBiase and Tommy Rich as Mr. R, what is it? 83?
84.
84? Okay.
I think it's like May. I think it's like May something 84.
Because I always get mixed up sometimes with stuff like that because DiBiase was kind of in and out of Mid South at times, so I can never like. Okay, was he in Mid South in '84 or was it more like '85?
Well,
Because I
this would
know
have been this would have been his last stop before his last run in Mid South before
before he went
DiBiase
before he went.
the $1 Million
Yeah.
Man.
Okay. Because he becomes $1 Million Man in '87.
You
I
know
think he
what? You
signed
know
that.
what's really cool about that whole thing is because the only light they had was above the ring. Man, those guys were fucking like for 1984. Like they were some big fucking guys. Like even like you can see like the shoulder definition like in these guys like Les Thornton and stuff like that. Like these guys were like men. You know what I'm saying? They weren't like outlaw mud show East Tennessee hillbilly guys. These are like fucking guys. And I'm
It's
like
funny because they're
I'm
like
like
men. It's funny because like when you look at guys like that, like you look back at it, it's like, oh, they were men, and they're like 20.
yeah, like 25,
You know what
26
I
years
mean?
old.
Yeah. Like Arn
It's funny.
Anderson looked like a man his entire life, and when he retired, he was only like 40. You know,
like, like
but in
46
like
or something.
1987, he looked like he was 40.
Man, it's crazy out there. I'm hoping to get booked around here. I gotta I'm working on a new gimmick because I'm talking to this shitty promoter around here. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be billed as Knoxville's greatest lover, and I just can't wait to go out there and say, don't anybody call me Knoxville's biggest loser. I just can't wait to do that. That way I can just Larry Zabisco myself through that whole entire match. I ain't gonna do a fucking thing. I'm just gonna keep stepping out, take an 8 count. Step back in, take an 8 count. Go back out, come back in, the whole entire match, get rolled up, lose, go home. Give me my hot dog.
What's the entrance music?
My music?
Yeah, what's
Oh,
the entrance music for Knoxville's greatest lover?
I haven't. You got any ideas? I haven't got that far yet because I didn't think anybody used any music here.
They don't have a sound system.
No, no,
Was that
no.
what was that song? What was that song from the 70s that dude did about uh suntan lotion or suntan, what it's called, rub it in. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I'll look it up.
Yeah. It's like
I
rub
will.
it in, rub it in.
Okay, yeah.
You can use that.
I thought you were thinking of like Mungo and Jerry, like in the summertime.
No, this song is like literally the song is just about rub it in, rub it in. What else could you use?
Yeah, I should be starting to get some bookings here soon for Bo, because he's lining up all the fair shows and stuff for like this spring and stuff like that. He has a whole bunch of them, and he told me he would use me like on them shows. But
Mhm.
I'm just dying to get fucking back in the ring around here. These guys are terrible. They're sad, dude. They're real sad. Have you listened to any of his like shows? Like you listen to his shows, right?
Oh, Bo's podcast? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God! Just you could just tell how bad they are by listening to his shows. Because I went back and watched that Southern Discomfort again today. Have you seen that shit?
I have not.
Oh, it's from 1995, I think it was shot. And it came out in like
What are you talking
maybe
about?
2000.
Yeah, it's a
It's about,
documentary about it. Like Iron Sheik's in it, isn't
yeah, Iron Sheik, Bob Armstrong, Mike Jackson.
he? Yeah.
It's about an independent show in somewhere in Alabama. and, and the promoter guy, he's out papering the town. He's putting up posters on barn walls, abandoned barns and shit. And he said, "No, you didn't see me doing this." I'm like, who gives a fuck?
Only that cow saw you. Yeah.
They pretty much had two cows. Yeah, they had two cows across the way, and he even mentioned them. Like they're
All right. So anyway, this
fucked.
week, February 4th, 1997, is the episode of ECW Hardcore TV that we are discussing. I believe that this stuff was recorded at the Crossing the Line Again event, if I remember correctly. We start the show off. Paulie Dangerously is in the ring with the ECW talent, talking about the Barely Legal show that's coming up. He announces that the main event will be Taz and Sabu. And he finally makes the big announcement that this show will be ECW's first ever pay-per-view. And of course, the crowd goes wild.
Did it look like Did it look like Sabu knew about this when he made the announcement? When he said Taz versus, and he said Sabu, and then Sabu's just standing there like, what?
I didn't even know I was feuding with Taz, because Taz has been having the feud by himself.
I'm in Japan. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I'm main eventing a pay-per-view? What?
Yeah, that was that's a landmark. That was a landmark opening of a show right there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in the late 1990s, with pay-per-view wrestling having been dominated for what? Okay, so pay-per-view, the first really big pay-per-view was WrestleMania 3, let's be honest, right? So if you're talking 1987, March 1987, WrestleMania 3, this is 1997, almost 10 years later. Pay-per-view, pro wrestling pay-per-view has been dominated by two promotions for 10 years. So it is a landmark fucking thing for another promotion to have gotten to the point where they're going to be able to be on pay-per-view. Now there's a lot of roller coaster with shit, viewers' choice and all that getting to the pay-per-view. You know, it's gonna be it's on and off a couple of times and et cetera, but God damn it, it makes the air. And yeah, you're right, Chad. It's a monumental thing for 1997. Like nowadays, I was thinking about that actually when I was watching this, and they're putting over how big a deal it is that they're going to be on pay-per-view. And I was just thinking now, it's like every fucking mud show fucking promotion is on pay-per-view nowadays. You know what I mean?
It's like pay-per-view. You're streaming on Thrilla TV. Fucking idiots. And your pay-per-view is $4.99.
I had to go to the cable company to get one of them filters for this pay-per-view. It was probably one of the last ones that I had to do that for.
And
Remember
they
that thing?
honestly,
The little silencers
yeah,
for your fucking gun.
Yeah.
and honestly, I mean, up until probably Hogan showing up in WCW, so 94, I'd say like that 97 to or 87 to 94, WCW wasn't even like a major pay-per-view company. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like
yeah.
their numbers weren't great. You know, there's a reason that Vince started doing In Your House in '95 because it's like, oh shit, these guys are starting to creep up on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just yeah, barely legal was a big deal, and I can remember. I mean, you and I got it when we were kids. Like you used your Music Land money to buy this
Yeah.
fucking pay per view
I,
because you wanted to see
not,
it.
yeah, 97 I finally had my first job, and my mom's like, "You ain't getting no wrestling. I ain't buying no wrestling pay-per-view." And I'm like, "I got $40. I'm
It
buying
was
the wrestling pay-per-view."
I'm gonna use
Take
half
that,
my check.
Mom.
I'm gonna use
It's
half
half
my
my
paycheck.
check.
I got commission from these Rump Shaker cassettes. I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, my first job was at Music Land. Chad, I don't know if you know, Music Land was like Sam Goody. It was my first
Right.
job when I was a teenager. Yeah, yeah. I got my paycheck based on those "Candle in the Wind" by Elton John singles. Mom, I'm buying a pay-per-view. Yeah, shit. When I worked at the music store, we had CDs, but we had cassettes also, and we still had LPs too. Like it was that time, the mid to late '90s, where everything was still a platform. You know. Anyway, I don't want to get in the weeds on that
The
shit, but
cassette single.
yeah, the
Remember the
cassette
cassette single?
single.
Rump shaker. Fuck yeah.
Einie Kamosi.
Hell
And
yeah.
the hot stuff.
Hot stepper.
How do you think Tuco Scorpio had his music? They had to put the cassette in and rewind it because he was jamming it all the way into the building. in his rental fucking Cavalier.
And then okay, so yes, we have the big announcement from Paulie. Our first match on this show. I wrote down Ricky Morton is out with a big-haired lady that I named Lady Morton.
They named her not Missy Hyatt.
I just was
You
like
are not
They
her
didn't
Missy
give her a
Hyatt.
name.
I was like, her and Ricky have kind of the same haircut, so I just called her Lady Morton.
I don't know if they had the same haircut because my note is at this point Ricky Morton had 7 different haircuts.
Dude. He did. He had hair all over the place. But he was rock and roll Ricky Morton though. Or they called him rock and roller Ricky Morton.
Yeah, like he had like the mullet. He had kind of like a bowl cut, and then there was like a mohawk thing going on. It's like, oh my
And he
god,
had bangs.
he had bangs. So he has several haircuts, Ricky Morton.
He had
And then
curvy lines shaved in his head.
you got not Missy Hyatt with her flat ass.
Oh, dude.
My god.
Was that a flat ass? God damn. Ricky Morton smacked her in the ass and hurt her tits. God damn, that was a flat
That's
ass,
not a
dude.
like that's not a thong, that's a wrong. Like, what are you wearing?
That was the match that my stupid ass Peacock froze up on, man. I was pissed because that match was only about what 4.5 minutes long, maybe 5 minutes
Maybe.
long.
Yeah.
25 minutes took me to watch that match. I'm like, come on, dude! I know this match didn't go. I mean, it was Stevie backing up Ricky Morton into the ropes is when my Peacock froze. Almost 20 minutes, my Peacock was frozen there.
And I have to say this, and the match, as Chad was kind of alluding to, it's of course Stevie Richards, Big Stevie Cool, against Ricky Morton. And I wrote down a note here. As much as Ricky Morton is honestly one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Ricky Morton does not work as a heel ever. He to me, he's just a babyface. He doesn't even know how to wrestle heel. Like when he wrestles heel, it's almost like it's not even him. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Yeah, because he's
Just
not because he's so good at selling.
mhm.
That's Ricky Morton. I mean, when was the last? I mean, who are the first two names when somebody describes a great babyface? It's usually Ricky Steamboat and Ricky Morton, are the two names that people say because of how good they are at selling.
Right.
So it's not like his offense is like his offense is still, besides a punch, is still baby facious because he was still doing like up and overs and roll ups and stuff like that and drop kicks and stuff. So he was still doing Ricky Morton shit. But yeah, you're right. He's not a heel
There's not a lot of BWO antics in this match, but
at all.
Stevie does win with a Stevie kick. Of course, Joey Styles has to get in the obligatory reference to coochie cutters.
Yeah. Billy Shirt and coochie cutters.
He can't
And
resist. He just can't resist.
then they give not Missy Hyatt a BWO shirt, and I think she stuck it in her ass. Is that
I
what she
just
did with it?
She covered up her flat ass crack. She totally did. She wiped her butt with it basically.
yeah, I wrote down here.
But why did she sell it behind Ricky's back? Like, you lost.
Is this?
you know?
I wonder if this was one of those instances where, one of the things where the wrestler has a girlfriend, so he takes her around. I wonder if she was his manager elsewhere as well.
Yeah, she
Maybe
was.
they were. Was she? I don't remember ever seeing her before. Honestly, before this.
Who do you think? Who do you think bailed him out of jail to get him to the show and drove him to the show? I mean, it was one of his weekends where he was allowed to get out of jail so he can go to do the show.
Well, thank
So
you,
she had
Lady
to go
Morton.
she had to go pick him up, drive him from Tennessee, because I'm sure they had a show Friday night too. I'm pretty sure they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't see Paulie justifying bringing in fucking Raunchy Morton and Mrs. Morton, and for just a Saturday, because I'm sure at the least, I mean bare minimum, that Richie got was $1.50. I bet you. I'd be willing to laugh when that phone call was made, and and Ricky said probably 150, and Paul was like, okay, I can do that.
And I'm bringing my girlfriend, but she's gonna work for free.
Oh yeah, she didn't get paid, dude. No chance she got paid.
Imagine how that rental car got returned. What did that smell like?
Yeah. As soon as she dropped him off back in jail again, she took that rental car back. My mom even asked if he was still alive. she said she's the one that called him Richie Morton, by the way. Is that Richie Morton? I said, Mom, he lives down the street. I said he worked the shift before I did at Weigel's.
Is that Ricky Martin? Living La Vida Loca?
Drinking La Vida Coca.
The next thing we get after Ricky Morton's hooker takes the BWO shirt, we get a promo from Shane Douglas and Francine talking about Pitbull 1. And of course, Shane Douglas has to throw in, comparing Pitbull 1 to Christopher Reeves.
My favorite thing was that Shane Douglas said I had this great reputation, and Pitbull 1 ruined it by getting his neck broken. Like, I like that. Like,
it's his fault that he got his neck broken.
It's his fault that I'm in this position I'm in now, because he's weak and got his neck broken. I liked that. I'm like, that's good shit.
No shit. Yeah, Francine had a lot to say, didn't she? She just smiled when he walked away. It's a good thing she was still in the locker room for that promo. I don't know how that promo would have came off if she would have accidentally left.
Yeah. What would we do without you, Francine, in this promo? What would we do without you?
You didn't even see her tits. That's all she's got anyway.
And then up next, it is Axel Rotten against Dr. Death Steve Williams. This was a nice little enhancement match for Steve Williams, and he actually gave Axel a little bit during this match too. He didn't just roll him over, he didn't just run over him. He He gave him a little bit during this match.
Yeah, I mean, Axel got the kick out of the Oklahoma Stampede. Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean that was Axel's gig, man. I mean, he's got to get his little bit of offense in. Would you call him Steve Wilson?
Steve Williams.
I think my mom called him Steve Wilson.
Steve Wilson. Dr. Death Steve Wilson. Paging Dr. Wilson.
Yeah, that
The
was
guy
okay.
next door to Tim Taylor, isn't it?
That was about a good little 5 minute duo right there. That's the good thing about Axel is that like you pretty much know he's going to lose if he's not beating up me or Donnie Allen. So you kind of know that going into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like let's see where it kind of tells you where the guy is who's going to get pushed, where he stands by how much he gives Axel. You know what I mean? If he just if he squashes Axel, then that guy's in for a big push. But yeah, he gave Axel a little bit. Yeah, you're right.
And it, like I said, the whole thing did what it was supposed to do. It got Dr. Death over. Axel didn't look like shit. Joey gets in the ring, or I'm sorry, they come back from commercial, and Joey is in the ring with Dr. Death and Raven. And I don't know, based on what we saw, Aaron, did you catch it? Maybe I didn't. Was there something that spurred Raven to come out? Did I miss something? Like, because I know Williams challenged him for the title.
You didn't miss anything. They came back from commercial, and the interview had already been going on. I think they were trying to make it seem, I don't want to say make it seem live or whatever, but basically they came into Williams' promo like, oh, coming out like we're coming in from our commercial, and Williams already started his promo, and he had said something about being then he could be the next ECW champion, and Raven took offense to it, and it brings him out and all that.
Yeah, could you start to see the writing on the wall right about here at the amount of times that Joey Styles made it abundantly clear that Steve Williams hasn't lost a match in the United States
in 10 years. Yes, he hasn't lost a match in the United States in 10 years.
And I'm thinking to myself, I wasn't there. I'm thinking to myself, I think he's about to lose a match in the United States. Because, I mean, Christ, Joey Styles must have said it 14 times.
So then correct me if I'm wrong. When the Steiners beat Gordy and Williams, did they beat them in Japan then? Because the Steiners beat Gordy and Williams in '92. Remember, they were feuding in WCW in '92
for the NWA titles.
Tag team titles. And I know at one point the Steiners beat Williams and Gordy, so maybe they beat him in Japan. I'm not, it's wrestling.
I'm thinking they're also trying to possibly say it like as like a singles match or whatever.
Well, the Steiners beat Gordy. They pinned Gordy in that match. So
I guess technically, yeah, I guess Steve Williams hasn't been beaten, and yeah, all right. I accept the premise. It's fucking pro wrestling. There were 93,000 people at WrestleMania 3. Andre the Giant was 7'4". We just accept these things.
Well, yeah, I said it to myself when it was going on, because I'm like, yeah, I mean, fucking, they lost to the Steiners in the NWA tag team match, but then I'm thinking like, oh, that's right, they gave Gordy the fucking like double the bulldog gimmick, whatever, for the pin or some shit like that. So I'm like, that's their spin, but yeah, whatever, it's
fine. And I wasn't trying to pick it apart. It just made me think about it.
It's a singles thing because guess what? They're saying this, and I just looked it up because I wanted to remind myself. On their own, in their own company, they did the ECW show "The Doctor Is In." All right, and that was on August 3rd, 1996. So obviously we've discussed it. And on this show, Brian Lee and Taz, with Bill Alfonso, defeated Steve Williams and Tommy Dreamer by pinfall.
By pinning Tommy Dreamer.
Right.
Yeah,
pinning Tommy Dreamer.
And if you go back, not even a decade, well, just about a decade before that, the one-man gang pinned him in the UWF for the UWF title. So, I mean, Steve Williams was probably losing all over the place. It was just Joey Styles saying that. And then don't forget the time that Chad Austin beat him in an independent show
It's
in
like it's the
Pepaul, West
first
Virginia.
time. It's the first. He hasn't been defeated on a Saturday in Pennsylvania in over
In front of
a
that
decade.
one guy in the crowd. In front of that one guy.
In front of Hat Guy in over
like
a
a-
decade.
It's like a Terry Funk retirement. It's like, oh no, I wasn't. I didn't retire. I just retired from working in
Shreveport.
Texas.
Yeah, I just retired from
Shreveport.
working in Shreveport
On Tuesdays.
on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Joey Styles would have been better off saying how many times Steve Williams had won in the United States in the past 10 years, because he really hadn't. Besides, what's his name, Abrams UWF, he hadn't wrestled anywhere in the United States.
So essentially we get the little spat from between Dr. Death and Raven in the ring. Todd Gordon comes out and makes the match official, and it is going to be Raven versus Dr. Death Steve Williams for the ECW Championship in the ECW arena. And regardless of us picking apart the statistics, the crowd went banana, and the match I thought was really good. Like for an ECW style brawl around the ring, just kind of a brawl, a Raven style brawl, I thought this one was really good.
Yeah.
Not that they're bad, and it was also nice to see Raven wrestle somebody that wasn't the fucking Sandman. Let's be honest.
Right.
Yeah. And Williams gets busted open, and Joey Styles is like, I haven't seen the Dr. Death Steve Williams get busted open. It's like, oh my God, what's this gonna be like? I haven't seen this guy get busted open in 17 and a half years.
And Raven just about, he must have knew which camera was on him, because he all but did the Baron von Raschke, Kurt Hennig, Road Warriors cover the gig job with the chair. Because if you notice, when Steve Williams was going for the gig, Ravens picked the chair up and he turned it sideways, and the camera was behind him, so you couldn't see Williams' head down on the. You could see when he went down, but you know what he was doing, but you see Raven turn the chair sideways, so the guy behind him with the camera couldn't pick him up with the gig. So I'm like, oh, that was a Kurt Hennig Road Warriors play job. It was all right. It was a good little brawl, because I thought that it was going to be a lot shorter than that, actually, because I wasn't expecting much out of it. So I just kind of like got up and got a soda or got a beer, and like I was thinking by the time I come back, it was going to be just a quick little brawl, And they were still going at it. I'm thinking, damn, I didn't expect any of this.
And Williams hits his flying shoulder block in the match, and I know it's not like the greatest move in the world, like when you say, oh, somebody hit a shoulder block or whatever, but every time I'd see Steve Williams do it, for some reason it just seemed more impressive to me. I don't know if it's because he's a big 300-pound looking motherfucker, and like the way he jumped up the ropes was super impressive or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I'm also a Steve Williams mark, so I enjoyed it, and it was like you said, Nate, it was fun seeing Raven get a break from fucking waddling around with Sandman.
Dude, Sandman is the kind of guy that if I was going to bring him in, like, just me, like for a couple of shows or whatever, I would have a guy like me in the ring that when Steve Williams came out, I would just leave. I'd be like, when he's wearing that robe with the hood up, and he's coming down the aisle, and by the time he gets to the ring and takes that hood off, and by the time I gotta look at him, I'll just walk out. Like, fuck this.
I know you don't. I know you don't get. I know the realistic part of it is you don't get your envelope with your $4 in it and a hot dog or whatever until the show's over. But another thing that could add to that is you could leave the ring and then they could show you giving the promoter their money back.
Yeah.
Like, never mind. And
then you got not the money, the hot dog. The hot dog would be funnier.
Giving the hot dog back.
Here's your hot dog back.
Here's your hot dog back, and I'll give you another handshake.
And then you see me waving to that one jabroni you always see, who's one of the students, and he's one of the guys that always carry the guys back. You see him come wheeling out a suitcase as I'm going out the front door. The guy's chasing me with my bags. Like, I'll be out here, dude. That would have been a great little way to bring in Steve Williams, right? show like Donnie Allen or Joe Hardgood just going, fuck this.
Yeah, nobody literally have it go like 6 weeks where whoever he's supposed to wrestle just doesn't even wrestle him. Like, nah, never mind.
You build
And
it
then
up to where it
you get
gets
like 4
closer
weeks
every
in.
week.
You get like 4 weeks in, and Joey's like, "Are these guys even looking at the board before they come out here?"
Yeah, you do it like for 4. You do it for like 4 weeks, where each week he gets closer and closer to the ring. You know what I mean? the first time it's me when you see him come out and just go like, nah, this ain't happening. And then each week he gets closer and closer to the ring. Before it's Axel. Because Axel's stupid enough to stick around and take a beating. He don't know any better. He'll still pull up his pants when he gets to Oklahoma. He could have easily kicked out, but he had to put his shirt down and pull his pants up. That's why he got pinned.
The signature Axel.
I'm not really hurt.
Michael Cole would say, "Vintage Axel Rotten."
What do you mean? I didn't lose that match. I didn't lose that match, Joey Styles. My gut was hanging out. My ass cheek was hanging out. I didn't hear a ref count.
So after the match, or as this match goes down, I'm lost in my notes now. Aaron, give us the finish.
On the match, like I said, Williams hits that impressive flying shoulder block. Raven ends up getting a superplex on Williams, and then the BWO show up, and out of nowhere, for some reason, Sandboy and Lori show up, and they're wearing BWO shirts, so it's all stupid.
I like the idea actually of calling them. I don't know why, because I know it's her old gimmick name, but just call them Sandboy and Peaches. I don't know why, but that's
Sandboy
funny.
and Peaches.
Sandboy and Peaches show up.
Peaches and Sandboy, whatever you want to call them. They both show up, and they're wearing their BWO shirts. Raven's moderately upset about it, which he gets taken out, and then Stevie offers Dr. Death his BWO belly shirt, and much like Ricky Morton's side piece, he sticks it up his ass. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with it either.
I heard the rumor was Steve Williams didn't join the BWO because he was insulted because he also wanted coochie cutters.
Oh,
he didn't just want the T-shirt. He also wanted the coochie cutters.
Could you imagine if Stevie would have taken them off? and because Stevie would have had a thong on, you know that, or some kind of women's underwear, and then Steve Williams trying to put on Steve Richards' coochie cutter, and put on one leg.
Steve Williams being like, "Give me your coochie cutters." Like, Stevie would have been like, "Oh no, this is taking a hard left."
Did Steve Williams die? Did he die the way I think he died?
He had cancer, didn't he?
He had cancer, yeah.
Oh, okay, the way I thought he died then. All right, never mind.
No, yeah, he had cancer.
I just thought he went the same way everybody else does in ECW. I was like, oh yeah, he's dead. When my mom said it, are any of these guys still alive?
No, I'm pretty sure Steve Williams had throat cancer, if I remember.
Okay, I think he did. Now that you say it, I think he did too. But I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking drugs or something. But yeah,
he had to have that. He had to have that voice box gimmick. But
the Black Scorpion box.
Call it the Buddy Roberts box.
Yeah.
Stink.
But like I said, Stevie offers him his belly shirt. He wipes his ass with it and throws it back at him. And then Stevie gets mad and he kicks Williams with 2 Stevie kicks. And Williams pops up each time. And then he hits him with another one, which actually makes Williams a little groggy, which allows Raven to then hit Dr. Death with the DDT, even flow DDT, and Raven pins him. And this is the first time that Steve Williams has been pinned in America in 42 and a half years. And Raven is still your ECW champion.
I heard like 3 girls go crazy when Steve Williams stuck his tongue out though. when he was taking the super kicks and he stuck out his Gene Simmons like tongue. I heard a couple woo out there in the crowd.
Yeah,
But I think
it was Peaches and Flat Ass Morton and Todd Gordon.
and Buck Robley, the Buck Robley guy.
He's oh shit. Okay, but yeah, overall, I thought this segment was entertaining from the beginning of Axel and Williams to this, and I know our job here on this show is to poke fun, but overall, this was an effective.
I wonder if
segment
they
and
asked that chick, like, they were like, can you do a flat back bump? She's like, no, I cannot. I can certainly do a flat ass bump.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if I was Paul and I was paying Steve probably what he was asking, I'm sure he wasn't coming cheap. I would have used the fuck out of him too. I mean, Paul, I'm sure Steve was coming with a heavy price tag, so
Yeah,
he
Steve
got his
definitely
money's
wasn't
worth.
$150.
No. Yeah, I would have used the hell out of him like Paul did, man. I'm getting my money's worth out of this guy. He's gonna win some, lose some. I mean, maybe we'll shave his hair. Who fucking knows?
So I know Aaron and I
really enjoyed this. I just saying I enjoyed it, and I did like the fact that it took obviously like 3 Stevie kicks and a DDT to take him out. It was a good match. I enjoyed it.
It was a fun little segment.
I know Aaron agrees with me. Chad, I don't know if I've ever asked you before. Are you a Larry Zbyszko fan or no?
I am, yeah.
I know this is going to sound random because I'm a big fan of Larry Zbyszko as a commentator during the Nitro era. He's really entertaining on commentary. And this is totally off topic, but Chad said instead of Sting earlier, Chad said Stink, right? So a couple of nights ago, I'm watching a Nitro, and it's like, it's when the NWO is getting really muddled down, and pretty much everybody's in the like 98 when like everybody gets a fucking NWO shirt. And they're having this whole thing where Sting and Giant are the tag champions, but they're on opposite sides. So Giant teams with the NWO Sting, and I'm getting to a point, I swear. Larry Zbyszko gets on this thing where he's like, no, that's not Sting. That one is Stink. He keeps calling him Stink, okay? So then that got me to thinking, if you remember the story, Aaron, was it Hardbody Harrison that wanted to be the Black Sting?
He wanted to be the Black Sting and be Stang.
Okay. So I was thinking about Larry. You got Sting. You got Stink. You got Stang. And I was like, so if I'm going to round out my 4 Stings, who's going to play Stank? So I got
Stunk.
Sting, Stang, Sting, Stang, Stink, and Stunk. Who's my 4th Sting? Anyway, so there's where my mind was the other night.
What's 4th Sting's name?
Let's say, okay, so if you got Sting and Stink, and you got Stang, so the other Sting would be Stank.
Stank?
Stank.
Mike Shaw?
Because then I was thinking, then I was thinking Buddy Jack Roberts could have been Stunk. you got them all right there, dude. It's like the evolution of stinking. It's the evolution of gas.
There's a thing on the independent
a gas or a liquid.
There's a thing on the independent circuit right now that I just love. It's the evolution of all the canes. Yeah, and there's a new cane. There's a new cane that just has like a paper mask on his face and like a Kane outfit, and the paper mask is Michael Caine, the actor, the British actor. He's just Michael Caine.
I love the Kane gimmicks.
Oh, I love Kane.
I love Gay Kane. Kane's the best.
Yeah, when he goes to do the thing, and then instead of putting his hands down, he like strikes a pose or whatever.
Yeah, he vogues. Yeah, Gay Kane's the best one. They're all great.
I like the Michael Caine thing though. That's fun.
Yeah, Michael Caine. I saw that and I'm like, that's fucking really funny.
Blaming on Rio, buddy.
Well, the next thing we get on our ECW show here is Devon Dudley versus the Sandman.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Finally getting to it. Like, I don't want to spoil it, even though this happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But we're fine. Like this is the thing. What's about to happen in this match is the thing that I was like waiting for to be able to say we're officially at what we're talking about when we talk about ECW. Is these two guys get forming a team? It's like we're ECW now, in my
Right.
opinion.
The only thing I was waiting for was, I mean, it was backwards. Was when we're getting to the finish, but before we get to the finish, when Bubba finally came out, I was waiting to hear the Benny Hill music. I am not getting past that, guys. I'm sorry. Now, anytime I see Bubba and Devon like going at it or anything, I expect to hear the Benny Hill music.
It's standard quote or it's status quo now. It's a
And
standard.
the other thing about Sandman's entrance, like when I was a kid, I didn't think about it because you're watching it, living in the moment, you know. So you're more watching Sandman and everything, and now it's like you see his entrance and it's things you've seen before, so you're not really necessarily fixated on Sandman, so you're kind of watching the surroundings. And Sandman's entrance is always what, 3 minutes, 4 minutes?
Oh, it's
Easy.
five. It's easily 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I catch myself like people watching, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh no, like these are some like during Sandman's entrance, it's like these are some of the most unfortunate looking people I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah,
I
they are
saw,
some.
I saw, I saw every single one of Ricky Morton's haircuts on individual people, and I'm
In the
like, oh
gra-
Jesus Christ! In the crowd, it's like, oh, and then you like, I saw like I don't know, I saw at first like when I saw this one guy, I was like, oh, that's an unfortunate looking person,
yes,
and
yes, it is
they
indeed.
panned towards him, they panned him more, and like I saw that he had like Tiny Tim things. I'm
Oh,
like,
is that
oh,
the
now I
guy?
feel bad.
The guy with the hairy chest and the long curly. He had the curly black hair and like the
No, no,
kind of shaved.
this guy looked like a deformed Bruce Pritchard, and he had like canes, like how Tiny Tim needed canes for both hands
Oh,
or whatever.
I thought you meant tiptoe through the tulips, Tiny Tim. I'm sorry.
No, I mean like Christmas Carol Tiny Tim. Like his legs don't work no more, and he has like a
My guy,
deformed
my guy was the
he had
greasy.
like a deformed. Oh, go ahead.
My guy was the greasy haired Italian guy with the he had the curly like black hair with the shirt with the hairy chest, and he had like the shaved kind of face, kind of like rough shaved, and he was kind of like pumping his fist like yeah, because the camera doesn't lie. I mean the camera was picking up some classics, dude, some
Like
genetic
when I saw
gene
that,
pool deficiencies.
yeah. Like when I saw that guy that looked like a mentally challenged Bruce Pritchard, and then I saw he had the canes or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's like I called him in my mind. I called him Tiny Bruce because he was like Tiny Tim because his legs didn't work, but he looked like a messed up Bruce Pritchard. It's just Tiny Bruce.
Yeah, that guy reminded me of the guy that was on Southern Discomfort. That the flame pushed down. He was yelling at the guy, the flame, and then the flame pushed him, and the guy had the two little
Yeah, I
sticks
know what
holding
you're
him up.
talking about. Yeah.
Like, and all of a sudden you see these two metal poles go flying, and the guy's on the ground. That's who that guy was. Like, dude, that's
How
a
have you
tough
not
guy
seen
right
this
there,
documentary?
huh? Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know how Nate has not seen that documentary.
Oh, dude,
I
it's a
don't know.
classic, man.
And you
It's
probably
only
still have
50
never even
minutes.
watched. You probably still never even watched Gentleman's Choice yet, have you either?
Nope.
Oh,
The
you
two
gotta
best
see
wrestling,
Southern. Yes, you gotta see
Southern
it.
Discomfort and Gentleman's Choice are
Gentleman's
like
choice.
the two greatest wrestling documentaries ever.
For Halloween, I'm definitely gonna be Big Boss Hoss. That guy's the best. Well, they're all the
Gentleman's
best.
Cho- Gentleman's Choice is the Tiger King of wrestling documentaries, and then Southern Discomfort is just like, yeah, this is probably what it's pretty much like.
Yeah. Haslin, Arkansas, or Oklahoma, whatever, Alabama, whatever that little fucking town is. I think I'm gonna drive down there in a couple weeks just to go see what it really looks like nowadays. I bet you I can find that barn. I bet you that poster's still up there. I'm gonna go see wrestling at the
Hey,
building.
if it's like around here, if it's like around here with the barns around here, I swear to God, the barns around here are more resilient than the houses are. Like the barns stand for like 200 years. You might put 3 houses on the farm in 200 years, but that's the same goddamn barn from 1803 or whatever.
Same here, dude. Tornadoes and anything else ain't tearing them down. You know, you see houses flying all over the place here
Yeah,
during a bad storm.
people die, the cows are fine.
Yeah.
This match, however, pretty much standard fare during the match for a Sandman match, which Sandman winds up giving a leg drop off the top with a chair to Devon and gets the pin. But what's important is what happens after the match.
My chicken wings are done.
Sandman gets the pin on Devon, but then Joel Gertner comes out and says, does his announcer gimmick and says, and the winner of the match by a score of 4-2, Devon Dudley. And then, of course, Sandman fucking canes him.
Can-Man?
The Can-Man.
The Can-Man can.
Yeah, pretty much. You saw that coming there, right?
You can bring the sunshine, sprinkled in the mess.
the sexy with the sexy hairy chest.
With the sexy hairy chest, the Can-Man can. It's some bum.
The Can-Man. What a bum.
With a pickle bottle full of piss.
No
the
shit.
Can-Man.
A 5-gallon Home Depot bus shitter. Now that's the Southern discomfort. He brought the ECW bathroom out with him. It's just a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket.
Well, Devon uses this opportunity to attack the Sandman, and then Bubba Dudley and Spike Dudley come out supposedly to help Sandman. But here we go, finally, after all the wait, Bubba turns on Spike. Spike gets the beat down by Bubba and Devon. Joel Gertner is present, and we finally have the final form, if you will, the final incarnation and the one that sticks through history of Bubba and Devon. The Dudley Boys have formed in ECW. It finally happens.
Well, from the way Bubba talks daily, is that they had to reunite because Devon wasn't going to know how to get to the next town. He wasn't going to know when he was booked. He wasn't going to know when it was time to eat. He wasn't going to know when it was time to work out. So I'm pretty sure that Bubba probably had to go to Paul and go, look, Devon don't know what he's doing. and you can't team him with Axel because he don't know what he's doing. So you got to put us back together again if you want this feud to go anywhere.
Yeah. It's either I drive him to the show or you put Axel and Devon in the car and it's the end of Thelma and Louise. Yeah.
Yeah. The longer Devon's lost out there, the more kids he's having. So you got to get his ass to the shows and out of the bedroom. Fuck. He's got his own Dudley family. Oh, he's got like 14 fucking kids.
So yeah, we finally have Devon and Bubba united as a tag team. Of course, the Gangstas come out also at the end. But they actually,
I was about to get mad at that though. Like part of me was about to get really mad because I'm like, man, they finally put Bubba and Devon together, and now the Gangstas come out, and like the Gangstas were whooping their ass for a minute, and in my mind, I'm like, this is gonna be another triple threat thing where it's like, oh, we have this new thing, and they're just gonna get their asses kicked, but they ended up laying them out too.
yes,
so I'm like, this is the way you do it. This is the way you fucking start a new group or a team.
That's what I wrote down. This is the way you get a new heel act over. Is the babyface tag team the fans in the arena love come out to make the save, and this new heel tag team beats the fuck out of them anyway. And I thought it was very effective.
I would have won the opposite. The way I had it looking was I would have won off the air with the Bubba and Devon Like that's the way I would have ended it and saved the gangsters for another thing, because you had that big like, all right, now the Dudleys are back, but you didn't even get a chance to like take it in because all of a sudden, as soon as they're cheering like, yeah, the Dudleys are back, boom, gangsters hit the ring, and I'm like, I thought it was kind of like too soon, but now that we know where they're going with it, so it's what they wanted to do with it. But I'm like, yeah, you should have had them like do it next time or something. But it was what it was. But I like
I
happy
think
endings.
they,
I'm a WrestleMania guy.
and part of me thinks they did this too because I think we obviously didn't get there with it, but I think looking at some things, and I might see it different going and seeing what they do building up to it. But I think Paulie, because when we get to Barely Legal, it's the Dudleys versus the Eliminators. I think his original plans, in my opinion, were probably for the Dudleys versus the Gangstas, but the shit just didn't happen.
That should have been it, right? I mean, that's the way it looked like because the Eliminators weren't even on this show.
So that Barely
So
Legal pay per view gets a lot of twists and turns, like Nate said, going into
Mhm.
it. But
So overall, I really enjoyed this episode of the show. Even the stuff that was silly was still fun, and even making fun of Ricky Morton's girlfriend. Um,
flat
it
ass
was still
bump.
fun. It was still fun to watch Ricky
mhm.
Morton and Big Stevie cool, and it's cool to see Ricky Morton anytime. Even though, like I said earlier, I didn't like watching him wrestle as a face, but
Ricky Morton did a flat ass bump off of her probably. He got back to the hotel.
Yeah, what's flatter, the Earth or Ricky Morton's girlfriend's ass?
Yeah, I'm sure he did some. I'm sure he did a line off of that flat ass bump.
That was a long flat ass, too. That ass was something else. And them shiny ass fucking silver pants or whatever the fuck she had on. It looked like she was smuggling a table in the building. God damn. She had a picnic table in her pants.
So What did you think of this episode overall?
I thought it was a B minus. Solid. It finally got me out of the C marks, I'll tell you that. Fuck. I was
And
all bent. I was all ready to give it a C going into it.
it also felt like heading to the pay-per-view. I'm not saying we haven't had build for the pay-per-view, and I know we've been very complimentary of Taz, which he has been doing an awesome job in the gym segments and everything. But the past maybe like 2 or 3 episodes, it kind of felt like we were treading water a little bit. Like the things that they were doing were fun, but they were kind of repetitive and et cetera, et cetera. It felt like this week felt kind of new and fresh, and we hit the pedal to the metal heading toward the pay-per-view in a couple of months.
Well, when it comes to the pay per view, I mean, I'm pretty sure this has been like talked about before. There really was a shit ton of behind the scenes stuff about like who was going to be on the show besides the main event, because it was a whole lot of people leaving, people coming, contracts had to be signed that people couldn't sign, or because of other shit. So it was kind of like, we gotta get some people that we had to get some people over that we're going to use for this pay per view that are going to stay. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of a rough time because it was by watching like WCW and stuff and Titan, there was guys coming and going all the time at this point. So it was
Yeah,
hard to figure out who was really going to be there for the rest of the pay per view besides Taz, Sabu, and Funk, Raven, Dreamer, that kind of shit.
right.
So you can see where Paul's probably pulling his hair out. That's why he's so bald now. Like, fuck, I don't know who's staying for this goddamn thing. I'm gonna have to call fucking Chad and Donnie again. Where's Seth
Aaron,
Myers?
Aaron, what was your thoughts on this episode of the show? Excuse me.
Like I said, I'm not great with like letter grades or whatever, but I enjoyed it, and I think it was a step in the right direction. Like I said, I enjoyed it because like when I saw like, oh yeah, we got the Dudleys now, and the pay per views forming. This is ECW is about to get really good, and not that it wasn't great, but it's like this is the most excited I've been so far since we've been done with like the silly ECW. You know what I mean? Like I'm it's been kind of like status quo for a while, and shit's about to shake up. You know?
Right on, man. Look forward to seeing more of it.
That being said, we'll sign off for this week's episode of Reliving the Extreme. I want to remind everybody, join us on Facebook, the WNR Podcast Network. Join us on YouTube, the WNR Podcast Network. And if you're not listening, listen to the We Can't Wrestle podcast as well. Aaron and I are currently going through every week. We're doing all the Clash of the Champions in order. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the evolution through the Clash of the Champions era of WCW. It's like I said, we're kind of going from the NWA to the NWO.
And if you're in Knoxville, Tennessee, anywhere around where I'm at, don't forget to stop by because I think I'm going back to work, fellas.
All right.
Yeah,
well, we'll definitely
stop by and see me at Weigel's. Use my rewards card. I need some more points.
Thank you for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next week as we continue reliving the extreme.
Take it easy.